Good afternoon, everyone. We're live streaming now for your weekly hormone chat. I'm Dr. Lisa Brown. For those of you watching in our Facebook group, our group is growing, which is awesome. So welcome. We've got a couple new members. I'm going to circle back to that. But invite a friend to a group because there's a lot more hormonal women in their 40s-ish era besides us out there who have changing hormones, who are in the thick of perimenopause or right around that time frame, and definitely could learn from being part of the group. So invite your friends. It's a free resource. And to those of us who are watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel so that we can grow in that department as well. Again, reason being the same. Let's learn and grow together. The more women, the better, right? Okay. Both platforms, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this, reach out to ask questions. You can message me on social media. You can reach out to me via email. And this is, again, a safe place. So any questions related to your health and hormones in or around perimenopause are free territory. We want to normalize the conversation, right? We're entering a really cool time period where women's health is becoming, it's getting more attention. And so let's run with that. Let's keep rolling and normalizing the conversation. I was actually, I was brushing my daughter's hair this morning and I was like, okay, you have everything you need for school. What do you have going on this week? Okay, let's see. Spelling pretest is today. How's your vagina doing? And she's like, good, doing good. And she didn't miss a beat. And we kept on with the conversation. And then later, like I thought back to that and I was like, wonder if other moms ask their daughters how your vagina is doing, or if that's just me. But let's normalize the conversation. It's part of women's health. You know, we want to definitely be talking to our daughters about these things at the very least, so that they know about their hormones and their bodies and can take care of themselves best. Okay, so this week we had a member reach out with a specific question that I want to make sure we address. And this question had to do with birth control, which we haven't had that question asked lately. So that was a great one. She said she went to her doctor this week to talk to them about her hormonal symptoms. Specifically, she's been spotting a lot to the point where it's like pretty much a full-blown period several times a month. And she's 46. And so she's like, I'm guessing this is perimenopause. I don't know for sure. I also have a lot of stress. Like, could it just be stress? And her doctor basically said, no, this really isn't normal. There's not a ton we can do, but she did offer her the option of birth control. So this group member reached out to me and said, what are your thoughts on birth control? So that was a great question that I wanted to address here with everyone, because I do feel like we're also seeing a lot more birth control in women in their 40s and even 50s. I personally am seeing a lot more in women in their going into their early 50s than I used to. So, there's the biggest, most obvious benefit to everyone most likely is a regulation of your cycle. So if you were to go on birth control, let's say to this group member at 46 years old, if you were to go on birth control, it probably would regulate your cycles. And again, depending on what type of birth control you went on, there are pros and cons of the different types as well. So benefit being, yes, maybe you have a regular period, except that's not actually true. It appears to be a regular period that you'd get from birth control, but it's actually not at all a true regular period. You're not having that internal hormonal cycle, right? You're getting a bleed. That's all that's happening is you are shedding that uterine lining. That's it. There's nothing regular about that period that you're getting from birth control, other than your bleeding is more regulated. So that is, again, the potential benefit. Now, that's not always the case as well, because there are some birth controls that when used in perimenopause can impact your cycle more than others. So for example, let's look at that. Because we do have some evidence, and some doctors will stand by this. We do have some research showing that different types of birth controls can do some good things when you're in your 40s and 50s. However, the benefit that comes from that really has been shown to only be for women who have like dysplasia, so like hyperplasia, so a thickened uterine lining, right? Or women who are dealing with certain types of hormone related cancers. Okay. And the reason that we see the benefit in those very specific health conditions is because what birth control is doing is it is shutting down your natural hormone production. So when we have serious health conditions like hormone dependent cancers, in some cases like those, we want to shut down your normal hormone production, right? Because that's a hormone dependent health condition. But in most cases, we're not going to get any health benefit from shutting down your normal your normal hormone production, excuse me. So I'm getting to a little bit deeper level here. But so let's move it and look at our perimenopausal symptoms. So again, if you're using birth control in perimenopause, yes, you might get some regulation of your bleeding. But if you have any other perimenopause symptoms besides that, studies have shown that you don't see much benefit. So studies have shown that birth control, particularly the IUDs, like the Mirena and the progesterone only birth controls, those do not have any benefit on things like hot flashes, night sweats, or menstrual migraines. Okay. And those are actually the types of birth controls that I'm seeing more often in women in their 40s and 50s. And we see a lot of IUDs, a lot of Mirena. And again, those, progestin only. It's not progesterone. It's a synthetic progesterone, which is called a progestin. So again, I've said it like 4 times now, but aside from bleeding regulation, there's no benefit of going on birth control if you're in perimenopause. So if you're thinking like, I'm moody, or I'm not sleeping, or I'm having hot flashes or night sweats or vaginal dryness or weight gain, birth control is not going to help with any of those areas. Okay. So not only is it not going to help with any other symptoms, but we have a ton of research about the good benefits of having your natural hormones. So again, birth control will suppress your natural hormones. So your good natural hormones, they go bye-bye, and your body's relying on this synthetic hormone, okay? So we have loads of evidence showing that our estrogen, our progesterone, our natural hormones are so beneficial for our cardiovascular health, our heart health. They are, estrogen in particular is very beneficial for preventing insulin resistance, which is a condition where our body becomes resistant to insulin. So it's kind of like an insulin glucose battle for who can be at the top. Literally levels of both get very high, which can be really detrimental to your body. So progesterone in particular is actually very protective of things like breast cancer, uterine and endometrial cancer. So there's a lot of really good healthy benefits to hormone production as well. Bone strength. Estrogen is so beneficial for bone strength. Having that continued natural estrogen production and progesterone production can help prevent perimenopausal symptoms. So basically, the longer you can continue your natural hormone production, the better your health benefits. Okay. So it's better for your bone strength, better for, again, things like ovarian, uterine cancer, less hot flashes, typically less things like menstrual migraines, mood stability. So again, those are benefits of natural hormone production. We also have a lot of research showing that just the ovulation itself. So again, for this person who's 46, you're likely still ovulating some, but probably not regularly anymore. But we want to, if you start birth control, you're going to completely shut down that ovulation. And we have also a lot of research showing that ovulation is very beneficial to a woman's health, not just for making a baby. So benefits of ovulation include it's very beneficial for our cardiovascular system, muscle gain, decreasing inflammation, boosting immune system. And I was just pulling up here. So I was pulling up a quote from an endocrinologist, Professor Geraldine Pryor. She says, women benefit from 35 to 40 years of ovulatory cycles. So 35 to 40 years of cycling regularly, not just for fertility, but also to prevent osteoporosis, stroke, dementia, heart disease, and breast cancer. So in that sense, every ovulation is like a monthly deposit into that bank account of preventing those long-term health conditions. Okay, so you may be listening to this and thinking like, that's fantastic, Lisa. I'm great. Those long-term health benefits sound great, but I feel like crap right now. If that's you, reach out to me before you go into birth control, because there are a lot of other things we can do that will allow your body to still maintain your natural hormone production well into perimenopause and until you cross that menopausal threshold without you having to go on birth control. So long story short, it is not my recommendation for the very, very large, almost 100% of women who are in perimenopause. Going on or being on birth control is not my recommendation. So, all right, that was a lengthy answer to that question. Aside from that today, because I don't want to take up too much more of your time, again, I wanted to welcome some new members here. And I wanted to read some of these comments that these new members have stated, because I do ask, when you sign up for our Facebook group, I do ask, why are you joining this group? What are you hoping to get? And so I wanted to kind of just go through some of that as I welcome these new members to our group. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening to this, hopefully this will be beneficial to you. All right, so one of the group members who joined us in this past week has had night sweats for years, crazy cycles for the last 2 years or so, but they still come. Sounds similar to our group member we just talked about. I'm so tired all the time lately. My doctor says this isn't normal, but then nothing. Doctor says, no, that's not normal. You're right. But then again, they don't, which at least your doctor is acknowledging it. So that's good. That's a start. But then what? What's that next step? What do we do from there? Most women just deal with it and continue tinkering along until 10 years have passed. And it's sad to say, it's unfortunate, but by then most of us have lost track of our health goals, right? And we have a new standard for living, a new way of life. But we're not like that, right? Because we know that we can feel better than that in perimenopause. So I'm a busy mom. I'm called on by immediate and extended family. So maybe that's why I'm tired. I just don't know. So you sound so similar to our group member we were just talking about who's asking about birth control, right? Is this perimenopause? I've got all of these symptoms, but I also have a lot of stress. So I just don't know. What is this? And should I just deal with it? Yeah, I would say you definitely, based on your age and these symptoms, I would say 100, I can't say 100%. I'm not your physician. I haven't examined you. I would say there's a very good chance that you are close to menopause. And there are a ton of things we can do about it. So reach out, book a call, let's talk more and dig into your specific day-to-day. Because, I can say general on here, there's a ton of things we can do, and there are, but it's much more helpful if we can have a conversation and dive into what's specifically going on with you so that I can make more applicable advice that will actually be useful and not just like super general advice like, relax more or something silly like that. But yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to keep searching because you don't need to continue on with white night sweats. If you're having night sweats, then I'm guessing you're not sleeping well, you're tired all the time. So another thing you could do if you're watching to this new group member, we have a perimenopause sleep guide that we just recently released. So make sure you get a hold of that. If you don't have it already, reach out to me, because that has a lot of really applicable tips, particularly for night sweats. So that would be a good reference to turn to first. And then again, you can always reach out to me to book a call. The next new group member, same thing. She's looking for support with insomnia. Make sure you get a hold of that perimenopause sleep guide. If any of you don't have it, make sure you get a hold of it. There's multiple avenues that you can find it through my social accounts, but you can also just comment below and say sleep guide on this video, or shoot me a DM or say sleep guide, whatever you need, and I'll get it to you. All right. And then one more new member commentary. Member says she turned 40 last year, noticing some changes, getting to get night sweats, feeling a little more tired, and you want to be educated. Welcome. Welcome to our community. We are so glad you're here. You are in the perfect space. I went into an early state of perimenopause at a very young age before I was even 20 years old, and basically have spent ever since then trying to figure out my own hormones and on this hormone journey throughout my life. And I wanted to create this group so it could be somewhere we could all go for our questions and as a resource. So I hope that it serves in that capacity for you so that you can be more educated going into this phase of life. At 40 years old and noticing some changes in your body and hormones, started getting night sweats, feeling more tired. You girl, that is right there. That is classic. Just turned 40, changes, night sweats, more tired, bam. That right there is like beautiful, crystal clear, dare I say, textbook early perimenopause, right? So it very much sounds like you are right there in that early phase. And perimenopause can potentially last up to 10 years. So it's great that you want to be educated. I'm here to help you, all of you, on this journey. I hope today's hormone chat was helpful to you. Send over your questions for next week and have a wonderful Thursday afternoon.